The morgue was a place of eerie stillness, where the only sounds were the hum of fluorescent lights and the soft shuffle of my own footsteps on the linoleum floor. The air was heavy with the scent of antiseptic, mingling with the faint aroma of embalming fluid. As I stood at the stainless steel table, surrounded by rows of silent bodies draped in white sheets, a sense of unease settled over me. It was the kind of silence that seemed to amplify even the slightest noise, making the faintest whisper seem deafening in comparison. And then, it came, a whisper so faint, so fleeting, that I almost didn't register it at first. I brushed it off as a trick of the mind, a product of the late hour and the oppressive atmosphere of the morgue. But as I continued my work, the whisper grew louder, more insistent, until it was impossible to ignore. "Forgive me." The words hung in the air, carrying with them a weight of remorse and regret that sent a chill down my spine. I turned towards the source of the sound, my heart pounding in my chest, and approached the body lying before me. The deceased was a young man, his features frozen in an expression of peace, but his voice carried an unmistakable sense of anguish. It was as though he were pleading with me, begging for forgiveness from beyond the grave. As I leaned in closer, I could hear him recounting tales of missed opportunities, broken promises, and unresolved conflicts. Each word was laced with sorrow, each syllable heavy with the weight of a life cut short. It was a haunting reminder of the fragility of life, of the myriad ways in which we can hurt and be hurt by others. And as I worked through the night, listening to the whispers of regret echoing through the morgue, I couldn't help but wonder if redemption was possible even in death. The morgue was cloaked in darkness, save for the sterile glow of overhead lights casting long shadows across the room. The silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the soft hum of machinery and the occasional drip of water echoing through the cavernous space. As I meticulously prepared the body before me, my hands moving with practiced precision, I felt a sudden chill seep into my bones. A shiver raced down my spine, causing the fine hairs on the back of my neck to stand on end. Glancing up, I found myself locking eyes with the corpse lying before me. Though its eyelids were closed in eternal slumber, I could swear I felt the weight of its gaze boring into my soul, a gaze that seemed to penetrate beyond the veil of death itself. Try as I might, I couldn't tear my eyes away from the lifeless face before me. It was as though the deceased were trying to communicate something urgent and profound, through their silent stare. The tension in the room grew palpable, thickening the air until it was almost suffocating. Every sound seemed amplified, every creak of the floorboards and rustle of fabric echoing through the empty halls of the morgue. As I finished my work and prepared to leave, I couldn't shake the feeling that those eyes would haunt me long after I departed the morgue. It was a gaze that seemed to follow me, lingering in the corners of my mind like a shadow, a silent reminder of the mysteries that lay beyond the threshold of life and death. The morgue, a place of quiet contemplation and somber duty, was enveloped in a dense shroud of darkness on this particularly eerie night. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across the sterile walls, while the faint hum of machinery echoed through the empty halls, punctuated only by the occasional drip of water. As I worked alone amidst the rows of silent bodies, a chill wind suddenly swept through the room, causing me to shudder involuntarily. The cold seemed to seep into my bones, numbing my fingers as I continued my meticulous tasks. But it was not the chill of the air that sent a shiver down my spine, it was the sensation of a phantom touch, an icy caress grazing my shoulder with an otherworldly tenderness. My heart raced as I whirled around, expecting to find someone standing behind me, yet the room remained empty save for the silent forms laid out on stainless steel tables. A sense of unease settled over me as I returned to my work, the memory of that ghostly touch lingering like a whisper in the back of my mind. With each passing moment, the sensation persisted, a constant reminder of the thin veil that separated the living from the dead, the tangible from the intangible. As I hurried to finish my tasks, the feeling intensified, like a presence hovering just beyond the edges of my perception, watching, waiting. And as I finally stepped out into the night, the memory of that phantom touch followed me, leaving an indelible mark on my soul, a reminder of the mysteries that lurked in the shadows of the morgue, and the thin line that separated the realm of the living from the realm of the dead. In the heart of the morgue, where the silence was heavy and the air thick with the scent of embalming fluids, I found myself immersed in the solemn task of preparing another departed soul for their final rest. The fluorescent lights overhead cast a harsh glare upon the sterile surfaces, illuminating the stillness of the room with an eerie intensity. As I worked, my mind weighed down by the gravity of my duties, I felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a presence that seemed to envelop me in a comforting embrace. Unlike the usual sense of foreboding that hung heavy in the air, this presence brought with it a feeling of peace, as though a guiding hand were gently guiding me through the darkness. A sense of calm washed over me, replacing the tension that had gripped my soul. It was as if the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead had momentarily lifted, allowing me to glimpse the comforting embrace of the beyond. And then, amidst the stillness of the morgue, I heard it, a soft, gentle voice, like a whisper carried on the wind, speaking words of forgiveness and hope. It was as though the departed soul was reaching out to me from beyond the grave, offering solace in the face of uncertainty, and reminding me that even in death, there is light to be found in the darkness. In that transcendent moment, I felt a profound sense of clarity wash over me, as though I had been granted a glimpse into the mysteries of existence itself. Death, I realized, was not the end, but merely a transition, a passage to something greater, beyond the confines of mortal understanding. As I tenderly laid the body to rest, I did so with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope to be found. And as I stepped out into the night, the memory of that transcendent experience lingered within me, a beacon of light to guide me through the shadows that lay ahead.
Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe for more Quantum Dimensionals.